Hey, what's up? I'm Gabish, and in this video I'm sharing how I went from literally $0 to hitting $100,000 in my 20s. No rich parents, no shortcuts, just a simple and effective strategy anyone can copy. I'll walk you through my wins, my slip-ups, and how you can use those techniques to hit this milestone even faster. Plus, I'll break down exactly how I grew my savings to reach that 100k mark. Alright, let's dive in. The first $100,000 is a big but you gotta do it. I don't care how, even if it means starting an OnlyFans. Find a way to get your hands on $100,000. After that, you can ease off the gas a little bit. Warren Buffett's bestie, Charlie Munger, was right. So when I was 16, I opened my first bank account. By the time I was 21, I had saved a grand total of $2,000. Yep, a solid 2 grand from student jobs during college. Big money, right? That left me with $98,000 to go. But here's a plot twist. I actually managed to hit my 100k goal this year at the age of 28 years old without selling an organ or showing my ding dong. It took me around 7 years with a lot of ups and downs to go from nothing to 100k. But I'm expecting to hit 250k next year, and my goal is to reach a million by 2030. Reaching 100k is a crucial milestone because once you cross that threshold, growing your portfolio exponentially becomes so much easier. However, I made mistakes in my early 20s that could have been easily avoided, and I learned key success factors along the way that would have saved me a lot of time in reaching this milestone much sooner. So after graduation, I landed my first job earning 20k a year. Living the dream, right? But after rent, food and the occasional splurge on instant noodles, I could only save about 120 euros a month. At that rate, I'd be hitting my 100k goal by the time I'm 287. Not exactly the timeline I had in mind. I switched jobs more often than a Kardashian switches outfits, hoping to find a more lucrative job. The sad reality is that working for someone else makes it very difficult to increase your income significantly, besides hoping for a raise or a bonus. Turns out, working hard doesn't make you rich, working smart does. So I decided it was time to take some more risks. In 2017, I heard about this new thing called cryptocurrencies, and my naive 22-year-old self thought, hey, what could possibly go wrong? Oh, okay, but you were lucky to have bought so early. Yeah, of course. When I was buying my crypto at the peak in 2017, I sold it all at the bottom a year later. My $2,000 turned into $100 faster than you can say, oh fuck. After licking my wounds for a while and saving up more cash back in the traditional way, a friend introduced me to what he called a 100% guaranteed way to make money. All I had to do was invest $1,000 into this program. And when I did, I was forced to drag everyone I know along with me. Yes, it was a pyramid scheme. I learned another valuable lesson. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Do you notice a pattern here? My bank account kept crashing to zero again and again. After all these failures, I finally discovered the best investment you could possibly make. Step 1, educate yourself. It may sound cliche, but I'm actually serious. Take the time to learn what you're actually doing, so you don't depend on others. Instead of throwing money at the next shiny get-rich-quick scheme, I could have invested in a year's worth of courses on Skillshare, Udemy, or from actual successful people. And for those who say a $100,000 college degree isn't a scam, but a $99 online course is, let's just say there's a reason some people spend years paying off student loans while others are out there actually making money. Now here's where the magic happens. If you want to invest, whether it's in stocks, real estate, crypto, or yourself, you need to have a small start capital if you start from nothing. And how do you create your first stack of capital the most efficient and quick way? By finding a high income skill that suits you. It sounds scary at first, but it's your ticket out of mediocrity. So step out of your comfort zone. Instead of taking a minimum wage job, learn first a high income skill online. How do you find yours? Here's a simple exercise. Draw 3 circles. In one, write what you're good at. In the second, what you enjoy doing. And in the third, what people are willing to pay you for. The magic happens where those circles overlap. That's your ideal high income skill. It could be programming, marketing, content creation, video editing, freelance writing, graphic design, and so on. If you can't find a perfect match, try selling digital goods on Etsy, opening a dropshipping store, or simply consulting or coaching people in a field where you know just a little more than the average beginner, and help push those beginners in the right direction. Once you've nailed your high income skill, it's time for step 2. Become self-employed. Now, before you start hyperventilating, I'm not saying quit your day job. Instead, start als zelfstandige in bijberoep. Or as we say in English, start a side hustle while keeping your full-time job. In April 2019, at 24 years old, I became officially zelfstandige in bijberoep. I tried multiple ways to earn money as a freelancer, selling my old study notes, becoming an online test user, doing Fiverr gigs and freelancing projects, dropshipping, and even taking my YouTube channel more seriously. But here's the catch. Side hustles can be very time consuming. It was exhausting balancing them with my day job. And to be honest, my motivation started to decline. But now that I had a bit more cash, I decided to dive back into investing to let the money generate more money. So I dipped my toes back into investing, but this time I did it differently. I started small, learned a lot from YouTube videos, books, online courses, and didn't throw all my money into one basket. And you know what? I finally started making some real progress. And that's my final step, long-term investment. I unlocked some secrets that made a huge difference. For instance, with cryptocurrencies, you're not supposed to buy at the top and sell at the bottom, but the other way around. But here are some important side notes. As I grew my portfolio, I took calculated risks. I only invested in what I was willing to lose. No tears if it disappeared. And I always kept a 6 to 12 months emergency fund in a high interest savings account, because I'm not a complete lunatic. And all the extra money that came in, I started investing based on everything I learned in step 1. Basically, I was DCAing, dollar cost averaging, during a bear market into crypto, because that's the area I decided to focus on. But you might be thinking, isn't that still, kind of risky? One piece of advice from Gary Vee really stuck with me. He said that when you're under 30, you can afford to risk it all, because even if you lose, you're still young enough to start over. Even Simon Cowell had to move back in with his parents at 28 because he was nearly bankrupt. That's our advantage. We have time on our side. I realized that investing in crypto isn't for everyone. I agree, it felt strange watching all my friends buy cool things like new cars and houses while I was putting all my savings into Bitcoin at $16,000 last year. Fast forward to today, and my portfolio is looking pretty good. Even if I worked every waking hour at a regular job, I still wouldn't have saved up 100k by today in the country I live in. That being said, don't dive in blindly if you don't know what you're doing or can't control your emotions. Remember, I lost everything in crypto before I learned how those markets work. Even now, nobody can predict the future, so I'm slowly taking out the profits I've made. Crypto can be risky, I learned that the hard way, but that said, I mostly stick to the safest assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum, making just a few trades every couple of months or even years. The only principle I follow is simple: buy low, sell high, and try not to panic when the market does its best impression of a roller coaster on fire. It happens sometimes. I used cryptocurrency's wild volatility as a chance to grow faster and ride those waves to generate more money in a short period. And now that I've crossed the 100k benchmark, it's time to lower the risk by diversifying my portfolio into even safer assets with less volatility, like real estate, gold, and index funds. You know, the kind of stuff that won't give you a heart attack every time you check the market. Those kind of things. For those who aren't feeling too adventurous but want to start investing, just not in crypto, I'd recommend sticking with the S&P 500. It's essentially a basket of the top 500 companies in the US, and it averages a return of about 7 to 8% annually. That's pretty solid, way better than leaving your money to wither away in a bank account thanks to inflation. Now, stocks have this fun little dirty secret called dividends. It's like a bonus for being an investor. It's a small percentage of the company's profit that's paid out to shareholders. That's you and me that I'm talking about. If you just bought those stocks, you're also a shareholder. And if you keep reinvesting those dividends, you start earning interest on your interest, and boom, Next thing you know, the snowball effect kicks in. This magic trick is called compound interest, and some even call it the eighth wonder of the world. Let's break it down with an example. Imagine tossing $100,000 we have just saved up into the S&P 500 with a modest average return of 6% without any contribution. You want to put this aside for your retirement, for example. By the end, you'd be sitting on over $500,000. Again, without putting any dime extra. Not bad, right? Now, if you look at this graph, you'll notice that most of that growth comes from interest. Therefore, the sooner you start, the more explosive the growth gets towards the end. In the first year, you might earn around $6,000 in interest. Fast forward to year 30 and you're pulling in a jaw-dropping $32,510 in just that year. I'm happy to say, after years of hustling, learning, failing, and trying again, I finally hit my first goal. And believe it or not, more than half of it came from investing when the market looked like a bloody crime scene. As they say, bull markets make people rich, but bear markets make people wealthy. My new goals are to hit 250k by the end of next year and 1 million by 2030. So subscribe if you want to follow along and see how it goes. And if you still need help making your first $100 because you need to start somewhere, well then you should definitely watch this video over here where I give you multiple ways to make money easily from home. Remember folks, if I can do it, so can you. Now go out there and please keep your ding dong and dignity intact while making money.